I click the links for Odysee at Bit Chute. Join the channel, become a member, or support the channel on the various links below. So I wanted to do a play on the We Was Kangs thing, but YouTube has no sense of humor. If a show falls in the forest, do BuzzFeed journalists Batwoman is a show that nobody watches, but that YouTube guy who reviews it for some reason, I guess it must bring in some money. The numbers it gets are from people who play it in the background. It's weird when you think how low mainstream numbers are becoming. People are spending more time not watching the brainwashing propaganda. Every minute you watch alt media is a minute that you're not watching mainstream media. That pisses them off and that terrifies them. It's really food for thought as you see the percentages start to shift when people are looking at mainstream media and go, oh, you guys are garbage. You guys have been garbage for a long time. It really is that simple. There's only 24 hours in the day. As alt media grows, mainstream media shrinks, which is great because mainstream media sucks. And alt media is awesome because you're leaving the plantation. You're not just getting the straight Pravda party line. Maybe one day we'll be able to make movies. That's, minimum budget for a movie, like a micro budget, like a Clerks movie nowadays. What would Clerks cost nowadays to film it? I think he filmed it in black and white because the color balance with fluorescent bulbs inside, because they're filming at night, would have made color film more different, something like that. It was something like that was I don't know, sub $30,000 movie. You could probably make a micro comedy for $250,000, or definitely under $1 million. It's not impossible. And like they're making the movies, like, okay, here's that $500,000, make the movie. Yeah, you could definitely do that. It's the distribution and monetization of the film that is the tricky issue. When I looked it up, his name is Thorius Unlimited. He reviews Batwoman, which is it's brutal task. You have to see Batwoman for yourself to really understand it. Like, seriously, go try to watch 2 episodes. You're like, how did they make this? It'll have you scratching your head. And I honestly could do a better job with the same budget, because it does have a budget. I mean, they have sets, they have costumes, they have expensive cameras and sound. It's like they have everything you need to make a show. It's not a huge budget, but it's like it's all there. What are they lacking? Oh, they're lacking the writing. Like, what do you mean? These people are like, can they write? Yeah, they can write, but there's like, I was going to say there's a gun being held to their heads, so they write propaganda. No, I think a lot of these people are definitely on board the plantation. Like, this is what they want to write, this kind of nonsense stuff. So when I say, like, yeah, I could do a better job, yeah, that's not an accolade. A lot of people could do a better job. What would I do with the same budget? Whatever the budget they're given for that. And I look at that money as like budgets on like Vagrant Queen, which came out like 3 years ago, and Batwoman, a bunch of these shows. I look at that money that goes into it, and like, you're just burning $100 bills. It hurts. Like, you could give that money to a bunch of creative people and they say, okay, yeah, you don't have to be politically correct. Just go with like a Sunny in Philadelphia South Park theme. The way you do that is you start with the first episode being offensive. And usually the way to trickily sneak it in is you start with the first episode offensive against people that nobody cares about, white European Christian men type of thing. It's like you can make them the butt of the joke. You can make Christianity or Jesus the butt of the joke, which is what South Park did. And then, okay, well, the next episode, it's someone else's turn, and that's when people start getting offended. And you're like, yeah, you didn't care when we were making fun of Jesus fighting Santa Claus. You didn't have a problem with that. Oh. Yeah, it ties them into a knot. So it's like nobody's going to defend, making fun of the English or the French or something like that. So it's like that's your first issue. And then the second issue, it's like you just get that fully automatic shotgun and you just start blasting. You take everyone down, which is where South Park really shines, because they went left, they went right, they went after every religion in the book, including Scientology, which pissed off one of the voice actors, which is a shame. So yeah, doing a better job with the budget is like I said, like if I ever won the lottery, I'd probably start making like sub-$1 million movies, which is going to be hard because I don't play the lottery anyway. So how do you fix a show like this? Well, you add in girls in short skirts and tank tops. That goes a long way because it sets the psychological tone for the show. like if you, I don't know if you ever saw Zombievers, which is a like a low budget show. It's like, yeah, half the show is the chicks are, you know, running around in shorts and tank tops, but it tells people you're not going to get propagandized to. You're not going to get lectured. That's a. It sets the tone for what you're getting. Where something like that Lord of the Rings remake. No, not Lord of the Rings. Wheel of Time remake. When you see like it's, you know, a United Colors of Bennington, diverse abortion, and everyone's wearing like long cloaks. It's like everyone just looks kind of dirty and scrubby and ugly and just, it's like, oh, you're gonna lecture us, aren't you? Yes, we are gonna lecture you, because they honestly feel they're better than us. Anyway, so like if you get a show, it's like if you got a low budget show, you go for comedy because that is the, I mean, comedy is dialogue. And that's the easiest thing to write, and you just find someone who can remember their lines and is skinny and attractive. I'm not saying you're going to have a hit show with that, but you're not going to have a total effing bomb like you have with this kind of these kind of like Vagrant Queen and Batwoman shows, which one episode is too much of those kind of shows. Anyway, you could include like some huge sidekick for Batwoman. And the joke would be like, he always has to rescue Batwoman. You get some guy who's like her partner, who's like 6'4" and full of muscle with a Vegemite sandwich. And Batwoman, he's always rescuing Batwoman in the trouble that she kind of gets her, you know, she walks herself into, and she's got these like strong guys who are always there to get her out of it. And she's like 120 pounds, if that. Like you think you see lean people, and then you go to LA and go hang out with some like young actors, and you're like, oh, this is what lean people look like. You sit down to dinner with them. It's like, you guys aren't eating your food, are you? You're just kind of pushing it around the plate. I went out to dinner with a model once, and it was that's what she did. She pushed her food around the plate, and I'm eating there. I felt like a great big fat ass. Anyway, the thing is, it's the way it's written now is that you've got this 100-pound Batgirl. She runs around beating up guys who are just, you know, she's beating up like I think they hired like some college football players for the roles of her bad guys. It's like, she's 115 pounds, probably 5'5", and this dude is 240 pounds, and he, you know, power lifter. It's like, she's just throwing him around. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, that's a little bit of spicy art, but well done. And this is like, you know, a character you could have so much fun with. There's so far to go with it. It's like, just get out of your own way. Just stop peeing on your own leg. Anyway, so the first girl was Ruby Rose, and she was as good as you can be in a show that is not good at all. And the thing is, it's never the actor's fault. It's always the woke writing. I mean that is there's a lot of good actors available in Hollywood. There's no, like, you're not going to get a bad actor because they wouldn't be in these shows. It wouldn't be in Hollywood. There's so much to pick from. So it's not their fault. It's not the set's fault. It's not anyone's fault other than the writing. Or sort of the casting of the wrong actors in the wrong roles. You can't make every character a POC and expect big numbers, which, you know, is somehow not politically correct to say that. It's like, that's just the way of the world. Good channels, all these good channels get kicked off YouTube. All those good channels got kicked off YouTube. There's like, I just saw an interview with Blonde in the Belly of the Beast earlier this morning. She had Black Pigeon Speaks on. She was a trip. She's like one of the last holdouts of the right of center channels that just kind of hidden away but not monetized. Anyway, so that Wakanda movie did well because it was a dude in the role. Rest in peace. Cancer took him too young at 43 years old. That sucks a bag of dicks. That guy should have had 30 more years of making movies. I think it had $200 million behind it to make something that was a really mediocre cliche movie. But, you know, in the superhero genre, there's very few movies that like you could point to and say, these are good movies, not just popcorn films. Like almost all of them are popcorn films. Maybe the 2005, 2007 Batman with that guy who was in that movie where he didn't know if he was crazy or not, and he's hacking people up. That was a book by Ellis, the guy who wrote Less Than Zero, that Batman. It probably would have been easier to look it up than to fumble about for 15 seconds. But anyway, there's very few movies that are like superhero movies that are good. I mean, the whole premise is ridiculous. Though I will say Iron Man 1, like they tried to do something there with a redemption arc concept. Like you had a guy who was an alcoholic, which is already a very rich field to explore, and you had him being kind of shallow in the beginning, and then he kind of turned himself around. They could have done a better job, but it's like they had a concept behind it where a lot of these other movies are just absolutely, they're just, popcorn movies that if you put $250 million in a movie and you've got, it's like you have everything possible to make a good movie, but no, it's like you're not going to go back and watch the Avengers. I don't think, though. I think I went back and watched one of the X-Men and one of the Avengers, which is rare for me to go back and watch a movie like that. Because those, like the Wakanda film Black Panther, it was an event film. It wasn't necessarily a good film. And, if you had a male Batman, which I guess I don't know how you have a male, female Batman. The thing is, it wouldn't matter the color. It would still do better than a woman. A female POC purse puppy is not in high demand as I'm some Hugo Boss. The numbers are literally before you. You can go look up the numbers for the show itself. It's not, telling the truth doesn't make you some kind of, anyway, you're selling to like 13% of the audience, which is, you're expecting to capture that market share. But you're selling a female character in a male genre. None of this makes sense. But like I said, these are post-profit business models. It's sort of propaganda, but it's so badly done by incompetent developmentally disabled peoples that I'm not sure if it counts as propaganda. It's just crap. It's like watching people race stock Toyota Priuses. It doesn't make sense, and it kind of feels vaguely dangerous. You're just kind of watching for them to crash and die horrifically. Okay, so the thing is, they put an Asian in a role that nobody was going to actually watch, no matter who you put in a role. Well, if you put a beautiful blonde model in the role, would more people watch it? Yeah, probably get more eyeballs. And I'm sure she's whoever the Asian chick is, who's like... Uma Thurman was great. Is that Uma Thurman? Or I think that's Uma Thurman. She was great at playing the crazy chick. Yeah, if you put, I'm sure this Asian chick is good looking enough, but it's like, okay, so who's supposed to appeal to? It's supposed to appeal to everyone, bigot. Then why don't you make her a hot blonde, blue-eyed blonde chick? Oh, because it's not supposed to be, because it's like the Windows XP sound of something shutting off. Anyway, okay, so the thing is, they put the Asian in there. It's like, it doesn't matter. Heels versus Babyface. He does, I think, reviews on this kind of stuff. The people who do reviews are probably going to get more views than the video itself. Getting with her in there, she was great. She was great. And I thought Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze was fine. Like those movies were supposed to be campy movies. They was like, oh, those Batmans were so stupid. It's Batman. It's comics. It's like, yeah, I will say the 2007 one was very much a step up, including with was that Heath Ledger did a job as the Joker. Anyway, so you've got this potpourri of POC purse puppies. It doesn't actually appeal to anyone. People are sick of each other, especially now. You would have been better off making the actors all English or Korean. Mixing doesn't appeal to a wider audience. It actually shrinks the audience. Yeah, telling the truth is a wrong thing, but you can't make people watch bad films. It isn't Clockwork Orange. So let's be honest here. All shows post 2020 are gonna be bad shows. That, at this point, we'd be better off making our own shows. Which, like a few years ago, that would not have been possible to say that. But now, it's like you have people in Hollywood who. It's like people with Comicsgate and people with Hollywood. If you're, it's a similar concept of to jump into alt media, alt Comicsgate or alt movies. It means you're giving up the mainstream forever. But if you look at it, you're like, yeah, I wasn't going to make it in the mainstream anyway, or it was a very low likelihood. Like if you're a white male in Hollywood now, you look for anything else to get into. Including making your own social media account, doing something else, because it's over for you in the mainstream. It's not a temporary fix. It's just over. You're done. Hollywood you're not in demand. The roles are so small, you can just almost forget about it. It's just not worth your time. You make more money doing anything else. And it's like the people in comics did the same thing. They look at it like, yeah, I'm not getting those phone calls from the mainstream. If you go to Comicsgate, you'll be someone said like these guys were, it was Aaron Lopresti, they were talking about these guys who were coming over to CG and like going on Ethan's show to sell their stuff, and on Twitter they were saying, oh, they should have gone to like Drink and Draw, and they named some other comics, these other comic book shows, and you go, those people get 35 people in a live stream. At the most live streams, the biggest I've seen, I think, has been 100 people, and they don't have a network. So you're talking about like there's 100 people on left-wing YouTube comics in a live stream, and their network is comprised of a few thousand buyers at the most. The Comicsgate network and live streams are an order of magnitude larger, and it's like it's a bingo point. It's a go no go point where like can I make a living crowdfunding, like the Ron Mars is trying to do his own crowdfunding thing. It's like, can I make a living crowdfunding on left-wing sites? No, absolutely not. Can I do it on CG? Yeah, if you really, really hustle. Yeah, it's at least possible. Where on the left wing, it's not possible. So, oh, they shouldn't have gone on Ethan's. Why not? Why not? Why shouldn't they? Oh, because he's some kind of Hugo Boss wearer. Really? Because that just sounds ridiculous. All this sounds ridiculous. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.